Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are discussing my March TBR. So this is going to be slightly different, this one. So basically this month I am only going to be reading the Goodreads Reading Challenge winners of 2022. So for context, I haven't read any of the winners, none of them. I read one that came second place, but that's about it. So I thought I'd like to try to read some of them, give you my review of them and whether they're worth your time, or whether you should just not bother, which I'm sure is likely to be the case for a few of them on here. So let's begin. So I'm going to start by discussing who the winners are, whether I've heard of the books, because in some cases I haven't actually heard of them, whether I'm actually excited to read them, or whether I'm probably going to DNF them. So to choose the books I'm going to read, I'm going to be picking them out of a basket that I've got down here. I've written them all on there. I don't know which book I'm going to read, what genre or anything like that, so it's going to be quite random, and that's all I'm going to be reading this month. So if I DNF one, I've got to go straight back in and pick another one out. Am I going to hate this month? Probably, but there are a few I'm quite excited to read on here, so let's go. So the winner of the Best Fiction category was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Now I've heard quite a lot of good things about this one, so I am quite excited to read it, but I don't actually know what it's about, so we'll see how that goes. But as I say, people that I have seen read it have all enjoyed it, and it is a winner. So, I mean, some people out there must enjoy it. So, yeah, I'm kind of hoping I will pick this one out because I'm quite excited to read this one. Now, this is where it goes downhill a bit. So, the winner of the mystery and thriller was The Maid by Nita Prose. And I've seen quite a few people say that they didn't like this book and the representation wasn't great. I believe the main character might be autistic, and from what I've heard, the author uses that as a way of explaining why the character doesn't understand certain things that happen. So I'm not too sure about this one. I'm kind of hoping I don't pick it out, but then again, it's always good to read it and get your own opinion from it, and you never know, I might enjoy it. You never know. The stranger things have happened. So yeah, that's the winner for the mystery and thriller. The winner of the historical fiction, which if you've seen my most recent video, well, the video I did earlier this year and also my best of, you'll know that Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favourite authors at the moment, and her book Carrie Soto is Back won the historical fiction section, and I do want to read that at some point. I was planning on reading, what is it called? Her previous one that's also in this world, I can't think what it's called now. But I was planning on reading that one first. But if I pick this one out, I'm not going to be that upset because I know that they're not like chronological or anything like that. They're just in the same world. So yeah, we'll see. I won't mind reading that one. Fantasy. Now this one might be a bit contentious because the winner was a Sarah J Maas book, and I am not reading Sarah J Maas. Whether she wins or not, I'm not reading any of her books. I am not reading fairy porn. That's not what I'm into. I'm not an erotica person, and I don't want to read books that are usually written for children that have that sort of thing in them. So I'm not reading that. The book that came second was the only one I've read last year, which was Babel. And obviously, I mean, I will reread it. If I pull it out and it says Babel on it, I'll read it. But no, so I'm going to read the one that came third, which was Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Now, I don't really read that much horror, but I have read the Batchman books by Stephen King, which I don't think you'll be able to see, but it's up there. And I really enjoyed those. So if there's anything like that, I probably will enjoy it. I've not read any of his horror books yet, though. I do want to read The Stand one day, but that's more dystopian, I believe. But I mean, I'll give Fairy Tale a go, and if I don't enjoy it, my other half's stepdad is a huge Stephen King fan, so he can always have my copy if I don't enjoy it and don't want to keep it, so it's alright either way. The Best Romance winner was Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and as I mentioned in my previous video, I want to read all of Emily Henry's books because I've heard really good things about them, especially as someone who's not a romance reader. I heard that the relationships she writes about are relatively realistic. There's not really any red flags. You're not reading it hating the bloke by the end of it, which I know is the case with quite a few of these more modern ones. Apparently there's no domestic abuse, which a certain author apparently writes about and then makes it normalised, and I'm not reading Colleen Hoover. At least she didn't win. I have to read Colleen Hoover. But yeah, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I want to read anyway. So if I win this, or if this genre wins, then I'll be very happy. The winner of sci-fi was Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Now, I don't think I've heard good things about this one, but I do love sci-fi and I'm very willing to read this if it comes out, but I'm not sure. I don't really know too much about it, so we'll see. But I'll happily read that if that's the one that I'm given this month. Horror. The winner was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak, which I believe is a short story. I think it's only about 100 pages. I might be wrong. I might be lying there. But so if I pick this one out, that's not so much of a bad thing because I should be able to fly through it. It might be a bad thing if it's awful, grisly horror I read before I go to sleep, and sometimes I dream about what I've read. So if it's a grisly horror, which I do like, I don't mind watching, reading is another question. I even listen to true crime podcasts and yet I can't read horror. So we'll see, but yeah, I don't know if I'll even be able to read it, but we'll give it a go. The next one was humour, which I personally don't really read, so I've skipped that one. Non-fiction, the winner was Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown, which I haven't really heard much about, but I'm guessing it's about how the heart works, I'm assuming. I'm quite open-minded, so I will give this one a shot. It's won best non-fiction for a reason, so it must be good. The best memoir and autobiography was I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. So I don't normally read memoir or autobiography unless it's by someone who I actually follow or am interested in real life. I wouldn't read it for the sake of reading it. But I've heard really good things about this. I've not actually watched. It was iCarly she was on, wasn't it? I was a Disney Channel girl. I didn't watch it. My other half did, so maybe he'll even read it after me. But I've heard really good things about this. It sounds quite interesting, and learning about the things she was going through as an up-and-coming child star really would be really interesting. So yeah, I'd be happy if I picked that one out. The next one, history and biography. So the winner I've not actually heard of, but this sounds really interesting when I read the blurb. So this one was Bad Gays, A Homosexual History by Hugh Lemmy and Ben Miller. So this is about essentially bad gays. So it tells you stories of gay people that have committed crimes or done bad things throughout history, whereas normally the image you get is of them doing positive things, whereas when you've got things like Stonewall and the marches there, and also like the Pride marches and things. So I think this would be quite interesting. It tends to be quite positive when you look back at history of different things. Even like the suffragettes is quite positive, but when you look at what some of them did, it's obviously not always great, but then you need to do things like that to be able to have growth. So yeah, we'll see. That might be quite an interesting one to read. The next two sections I'm skipping, so that's graphic novels and comics. I don't really read them unless it's these ones, which I've got to read. The latest one my other half got me for Christmas. We've still not sat down and read it. These are the only graphic novels I really read. And poetry. I mean, I've got a John Clare poetry collection there, but yeah, I don't really read poetry. It's not really my thing. Debut novel. So the winner for this was Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. Again, I know nothing about this, but it won debut novel, so I'm sure it's interesting. YA fiction. So the winner was The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the final book in a series. And I haven't read any of the rest of the series, so I'm not reading that. Same again with, is it Loveless? Yeah, Loveless by Alice Osman. That's also a book in a series. I think that's with the Heartless series, which I've not read any of, and they're graphic novels as well, so that's another reason to skip that. So I've gone to the third place book, which was I Kissed Shara Wheeler, which is by Casey McQuiston. I don't really read much YA fiction anymore, but it looks like it's a YA romance, so might be alright, might enjoy it. The next genre was YA fantasy and sci-fi, which I do occasionally read, and the winner was Gallant by V.E. Schwab, which is something I've wanted to read, so I'll look forward to that. Don't really know too much about it. I think I've only read actually her YA books. I've read Dark Shade of Magic, that series, and she also did that urban fantasy one as well, which I can't. Has it got orcs in? might do. I can't remember. I've read that as well, and they're both. I quite like Dark Shade of Magic. The other one, I can't think of its name. I'll put it on the screen. That other one I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I'll give this a go. It won, so it can't be too bad. And then middle grade and children's, I don't really read. I read one last year, but I thought I'll skip that one. If I had children, then maybe I would read it and I could pass it to them, but I don't, so I'll skip that one. So it's time to pick the one I'm going to be reading out the box. So this is the basket. The colours, it's not colour coded. There's different colours in there, but it's only because of the paper I had left. I don't know if you can see in there. So this is going to be the first book I'm going to read this month. I'm going to mix it around a bit. I'm really nervous. What if I pick something I hate? If I pick something I hate, I get to pick another one out. But I am just about to do a book order, so there might be a book haul. There will be a book haul on my TikTok in a few days, probably after this. So it's whether I buy it in a book form or a Kindle format. I'm probably going to buy it on Kindle in case I didn't like it, but right. Stop chatting, pick a book, close your eyes. Alright, I've got one. Oh, it's a pink one. Again, I don't know what genres these are. I feel like the two pinks were both non-fiction. Oh, okay. So it's history and biography, Bad Gays, A Homosexual History by Hugh Lemming and Ben Miller. So we're going in with some non-fiction, which actually is a good thing because I did want to read more this year and I haven't read any yet. So this can be my one for this quarter, even though we're ending this quarter now. But yeah, there we go. Just so there's proof, you can see my awful handwriting. That's the first book I'm going to be reading this month, in the month of March. When I finish this, I'll pick out another one. I might try and do them sort of as a reading vlog. We'll see. As I say, I read mostly in the evening, so before I go to sleep, so it might be difficult, but maybe I can give like a little update on my lunch break or something, or when I finish work each day. So yeah, let's go with history and biography. Okay, full disclosure. So I picked up Bad Gays, and after I finished recording, I've recorded everything. This is now in the future, kind of, well, 10 minutes later. I went to order the book and I can't actually get a hold of it. I wanted to get it on Kindle and it was about 17 quid on Kindle. And I don't want to buy a hardcover of a book that I'm potentially not going to like. So yeah, Bad Gays will have to go on hold for now until the paperback version comes out, which is in May, I believe. So we pick again. Let's see what happens. Mix them up. They're all here, other than Bad Gays, which is on the side now. So let's go. What have we got? Oh, it's a blue one. Not that it really matters, it's a blue one. Oh, okay. YA fiction, I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. This wasn't one that I was really excited to read, but I'll give it a go. And if you want proof, there's the proof. It's probably flipped, but there's the proof. So I'm going to go off and order this one now, hopefully. Hopefully it's out in a cheap format that I'm not spending 15, 20 quid on a hardback that that I may not enjoy. So yeah, we got this one. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I hope that I enjoy these books. Follow me on TikTok where you might be able to see a full review of these on there. I'll probably, if I do a reading vlog, obviously I'll mention it throughout there, but I'll also do a full formal review on my TikTok. And yeah, keep subscribed to me to see me probably in pain with trying to read these books that aren't really my thing. And I will see you later. Bye.